everybody, welcome back for another sublimation tutorial. Today we're going to look at another wrapping method. If you guys haven't seen my normal wrapping method tutorial, it's one of the first videos I did way back when I started. It just shows how I wrap my tumbler. You'll see me, I pull really tight, I tape, I do all the steps that I do, but it usually works out really well. I get very minimal, as people like to call it, the ghosting. You get the white blotches, the seams are faded out. You don't get a full good looking image on your tumbler. So I have my own method, but I recently just discovered a tool that you can use, and it's called the Pinch Perfect. Now, if you guys haven't heard of this, it's fairly new to me. I haven't heard much about it either, but I decided to go ahead and try it out, see what it was like. You guys, when I saw this, when I got the package, I wasn't sure. Honestly, 100%, I was not sure. I was like, it's a piece of plastic, it wraps around your tumbler, and it's supposed to hold your tumbler image around it, tight enough to tape it. And I mean, you can see I can manipulate it with my hand. That's not a lot to it. It actually works. I was really surprised. So I'm going to show you how to use it, how it works. They even send you a full step-by-step detailed instructions, and as long as you follow the steps, it actually works really well. So instead of having to like pull the paper really tight, especially if you're having hand cramps, arthritis, if you're doing 100 tumblers a day, this is going to help you. I wish I had learned about this sooner. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll go through the steps and just show you kind of how it works. I'll wrap it, I'll bake it, and get you a completed tumbler just to show you how it works. So let's get started. All right, so like I said, I'm just going to go through the steps. That way you can see me doing it from start to finish. I will do my normal wrapping technique outside of the Pinch Perfect. So we'll go ahead and do everything the instructions say, and then I'll wrap like I normally do. Again, if you haven't seen that tutorial, I'll link it up here for you so you can check out how I do my wrapping to get those perfect rims and seams. So the first step is to go ahead and trim your image. It says to cut off both sides and the bottom to line it up. I'm going to do both sides, but I'm going to do my top because that's how I do mine. I turn mine upside down, and I'll tell you why here shortly why I do that. But it's still following the instructions just a little bit differently. So I'll go ahead and get my image cut up, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, so we went ahead and got that image cut out. And so now I'm going to show you how we wrap the tumbler with the image with this little guy. Before, I always just wipe it down, just make sure all the oil is off, fingerprints, all that stuff that you don't want underneath it that might mess with the ink. So just make sure it's nice and clean. All right, so the next step from there is to go ahead and take your tumbler and to wrap your paper around it. Again, like I said, I like to line mine up on the top, so I'm just going to turn it upside down and do it that way. It does recommend you do it on the bottom, but like I said, it's just how I do mine, and that's just how I'm comfortable with doing it. So I'm going to do it that way. Everything else is going to be the same as the instructions though. So you'll wrap it like normal, and then just kind of make sure everything's lining up. If you haven't seen my easy way to measure your tumbler and make sure everything is lined up trick, I'll link that video up above and below, and it just helps you kind of make sure that your lines are good and that your image is going to line up when you're done. All right, so now that you have your paper on, you're going to take your Pinch Perfect, and I actually really like how you can hold it with one hand, open and close it, and hold your tumbler at the same time. And it's really easy. I'm not even having to, mess with it or pry it or anything. So what you're going to do, there's little rubber stopper things on here, and it tells you to line up that stopper about 1/2 inch away from the edge of your paper, and then you just close the other side to it, and then just make sure that the seam is pretty much in the middle, and then you grab those two little levers just like that. And I just want to show you, this is me barely holding on to it. I'm not pulling it, I'm not pinching it right now. and it actually is holding my paper really close together. Now, if I pinch it even more, it's actually pulling the paper even tighter. And now I do have a little bit of an overlap now, which is fine. That's perfect. It's pulling it super tight. If you can see here, I'm pulling that paper and I can't budge it away from the tumbler, which is super awesome. Same thing up here. It's very, besides there, because it's not taped, it's very flat against the tumbler and I'm using one hand. So now we'll go ahead and tape it. The next step, it does say to tape on one side of the handles and then tape on the other side of the handles. You can remove it and then go along with placing the rest of your tape. And it will tell you at the end, it does still recommend wrapping the bottom and the top to make sure that it's still all in place. All right, so I got my 2 pieces of tape on there. That's literally all I have on there. I just want to show you what happens when I let go. Nothing. It's on there. That is awesome, actually. I really like it. So like I said, if you have a hard time with your hands, if you have arthritis, you can't just pull the paper tight enough, or if you're doing like 100 tumblers in a day, I don't do that many a day, but your hands get tired, this thing is awesome. It works perfectly. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish taping it up. I'll show you what it looks like once it's all taped up, and then I'll go ahead and bake it and show you a final result. All right, so we're back. It's been cooked. It's cooled off enough for me to be able to handle it. I haven't untaped it all the way quite yet because I wanted to show you the results of it as a first look for you and me. And this is using the Pinch Perfect. So let's go ahead and see what the results were. I'm gonna go ahead and untape it. All right, so here comes the results. Oh my gosh. I don't even know where the seam is. You guys, that worked amazing. Amazing. I think that's where the seam is supposed to be. The rim, the bottom. You guys, go get one. Like, go get one yesterday. These are awesome. So it's called the Pinch Perfect. There is a link below in my descriptions. I'll link it to you so that you can go look, check them out. They have different colors. Mine just happens to fit my channel with the pink and everything. You guys, I'm actually really blown away by this. I'm really impressed. I really like it. Super easy to use, and guys, the results speak for themselves. If you enjoyed this tutorial, if it was helpful for you, go ahead and boop that like button, share for others, and subscribe to the channel. Have a wonderful day and happy crafting.